Yo, it's J5. On today's video, we will be talking about the NFL. So, just like I just did my college month in recap. So on today's video, we will be talking about the NFL and 4 weeks in already. It's about to be week 5. Tonight there's a Thursday night game, so we'll get into that game, our predictions about that game. And really in this video, we're just going to be going over all 32 teams and just giving a brief description of where they stand right now after these 4 weeks. Also, we will finish the video off by giving our top 10 power rankings. So, I mean, we got 32 teams. Let's keep it nice and short, sweet, and let's get right into it. So let's start with the NFC North. Let's start with the Minnesota Vikings. A shocking 4-0 start. This team was predicted to, finish last in their division. 2 years ago, I was really high on them when they did win the division. I predicted their 13-4 record, but not even I could have predicted this start for them. 4-0, elite defense. And Sam Darnold, man, what a resurgence from him. Very, very good for him. Very good for him. He's completely locked in. He's top 10 in passing yards, and he leads the league in touchdowns with 11. And like I said, they have an elite defense. Brian Flores, his scheme just completely confuses quarterbacks. Through the quarterbacks that they played, Daniel Jones, week 1, he had 2 interceptions. Week 2, they played Purdy. He had an interception. Week 3, C.J. Stroud, he had 2 interceptions. And then last week, they played Jordan Love, and they had 3 interceptions. So, I mean, great start for the Vikings. Hopefully, they continue this run because I like the Vikings, and I like to see them do good. So, it'll be very nice to see if they could, win another division title under Kevin O'Connell. Let's move on to the Lions. Jared Goff, he's not in the best rhythm. They did have a very good Monday night game against the Seahawks. And, of course, they still have an elite run game. But outside of Amon-Ra, there's not really consistent production between Jameson Williams and Sam Laporta. We know Laporta last year, he had a great rookie season. But, he's been battling some injuries. In training camp, he had a hamstring injury. And I think this week 3 against the Lions, week 3 against the Cardinals it was. I believe he had some sort of injury in that game again, but he did play this Monday night, but just he hasn't been that loud when the offense is on the field. So if they can just get consistent production from Jameson and Laporta, this Lions team is like they could make a Super Bowl run. They were a few plays away from it last season. So, and I know going into this year, I said that I wasn't really buying into this Lions team, but this Lions team is good. I know they brought over my mind just went blank. I know they drafted Terrion Arnold, and my mind is just blank right now. Carlton Davis. There we go. They brought over Carlton Davis from the Buccaneers. Excuse me. And, we expected this defense to take a jump, but we really haven't seen it, especially in the back end. That's where they had trouble. But we just haven't seen the secondary take a jump this season. So if they could just get things together in the secondary, they'll be very, very good. Moving on to the Packers, they'll be just fine. They're 2-2 right now. Big 2-0 stretch when Willis was quarterback. So that was very huge for them. Let's move on to the Chicago Bears. Caleb, he's continuing to progress, and that's what you want to see in a rookie quarterback. They have a top 5 defense. O-line is a problem. It's a very, very huge problem. You don't want to see your rookie quarterback get hit that many times. seeing that kind of reminds me of Andrew Luck. The way that you know he was hit early in his career. I mean, he had all the potential in the world, and I mean, he he could still be playing today. But I mean, those hits that he was taking early in his career, that really is the reason why he ended up retiring so early. And you would hate to see Caleb go down that road because he's just like an Andrew Luck product. Number one pick, has all the talent in the world, and you just want to see him do well and protect him. And the last thing with the Bears, I mean, is DJ Moore really happy right now? Like, okay, they're winning, they're 2-2, but I don't know. DJ Moore, his stats aren't really what they were when Justin Fields was quarterback. He's said it publicly last season that he wants the Bears to keep Justin Fields at quarterback. So, I mean, there could be some drama brewing right there with DJ Moore, but 4 weeks in, I'm not going to make nothing too much out of it. Moving on to the NFC South, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In my opinion, they will win the division. In my season preview, I said that I wanted to take them to win the division, but overall, the Falcons' division record was the reason why they will win the division. Excuse me, but the Buccaneers, they're going to win the division. Right now, they have the best quarterback in the division with Baker Mayfield. They have the best offense. And they just continue to go out there and score points. And tonight, with them playing the Falcons, like I said, we'll get into that game with my prediction. But that's a very, very big game for them. And with Bucky Irving, the things that he's doing as a rookie, he's really their number one running back. I know on the depth chart he's number 2, but he's playing much better than Rachaad White this season. And I'm sure down the line he may take over as the number 1 back. Moving on to the Saints, they were a 2-week fraud. I'm not even gonna speak much of them because that Saints team, I really they even had me fooled those first 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, wow, are we really about to see the Saints run this division? But yeah, it just turned out that they were just a 2-week fraud. So I'm not going to talk much about them. Falcons, they need to figure out how to get Kyle Pitts involved. Last game, I know he didn't have a catch. I'm not sure if he had a target or not, but they need to figure out how to get him involved. He was number 4 overall pick. I'm not sure if it's excuse me. I'm not sure if it's Kyle Pitts himself, if he's just trash, but I mean, he really hasn't had a chance to showcase it or not. Excuse me. They can win the division. They have a great defense. Kirk Cousins, he hasn't looked the healthiest, honestly. He hasn't looked the best. But I mean, they can win the division, but also they're 2 plays away from being 0-4. And that Monday night game, week 2, if the Eagles run the ball, that's a loss right there. And then last week against the Saints, on that last possession, if the Saints know how to play defense without pass interference, they lose that game too. Because after that flag was called, the Falcons they didn't move the ball again. And shout out Koo, he's got a leg on him. Can't recall how far that kick was, but I know it was the furthest in his career, and he knocked it down, ice in his veins. Last team in the South, the Panthers, man, poor Bryce Young. I was very high on Bryce Young going into the season. I didn't speak on it, but I was expecting him to take a leap. Sadly, it's looking like he's a bust, but also it could just be the system. As we've seen, Sam Darnold was in the Panthers system. Baker Mayfield was in the Panthers system. And, I mean, they got out of there, and they're having a career right now. But also, Andy Dalton has came in these past 2 games. He won their first game against the Raiders. Well, his first start against the Raiders. And then this past week against the Bengals, they put up 24 points. So, I don't know. It might be Bryce. But if he is traded, where can he go? Maybe the Raiders, they don't have a solidified quarterback right now. O'Connell and Minshew, those guys aren't starting quarterbacks. Rams, maybe, Stafford's getting up there in age. Maybe they want to make a change or whatever. And maybe even the Jets. You have A-Rod right now, but just think about what the type of quarterback that Bryce Young could become if he gets to sit behind Aaron Rodgers for a year, um, and just learn from him. I'm not saying that he can't learn from Andy Dalton, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he's a Hall of Famer, and we've seen how Jordan Love turned out. So I think if Bryce Young, if the Jets were to make a move, because after Aaron Rodgers retires, it's like, okay, where are the Jets gonna go with quarterback? Because right now their backup their backup is Tyrod Taylor, so they have two vets at the quarterback position. So it's like might as well go out there. You probably won't have to give up much for Bryce Young, but also the Panthers said that they're not listening to trade offers for Bryce, but you never know. It's the NFL. Um, Moving on to the NFC East, the Eagles. Saquon, perfect addition for the Eagles, and he's been pretty much their best player on offense this season. He's second in the league in rushing after Derrick Henry just went crazy on Sunday night with 200 yards. But I mean, if Saquon could just stay healthy all throughout the year, and once Smitty and AJ Brown come back from injury, they'll be just fine. Right now they're 2-2. They had a rough loss against the Buccaneers this past Sunday, but I also feel like Nick Sirianni may be the one who holds them back because with no AJ Brown, no Devontae Smith, I know everyone has talked about it, but why were the first 9 plays 7 passes? 7 of the 9 plays were passes. Why not just lean on Saquon? He should have had 20, almost. I would say he should have almost 20 attempts in that first half. Because in that first quarter, I believe they only had the ball for like 2 or 3 minutes. So if they were able to, just eat the clock on the ground with Saquon, it's like they might have been able to win that game. But then they were put in a position where they had to pass the ball and they had no elite receiver plays. So we all knew how that was going to turn out. The defense, they need to be much better. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he's the one who talks the most and has nothing to show for it. Their front seven, it's pretty good. They weren't the best against the run the first 2 games, but then they began to settle in, and things got better. But that secondary, they need to play much better. Jalen Hurts, I believe that he needs to continue to run, as we've seen that Monday night game. When he used his legs, he had a lot of explosive plays with his legs, and maybe even more design run calls. I know you don't like to put Hurts in a position where he's taking a lot of hits because last year he dealt with a shoulder injury. Although he played through it, but you've seen it had an effect on him going towards the end of the season. But I mean, that's when they're most explosive. And then if the defense has to worry about Jalen Hurts using his legs, and then you still have Saquon, I mean, they could be a top 3 offense. Like I said, especially when AJ Brown and Smitty come back. Moving on to the Commanders. Wow, Jaden Daniels. Is he the rookie of the year right now? I would say so. Him one, Neighbors two. Them LSU boys, they're having a very nice start to their career. Jaden Daniels, first in completion percentage. He's top 10 in yards, top 5 in QBR and rating. And best of all, he has a 3-1 record right now. No one thought this Commanders team will be at first place 4 weeks into the season in their division. But I mean, there they are. They sit at the top. And honestly, they look really dangerous. But are they good enough to continue this throughout the year? I mean, we'll see. It'll be very nice. But shout out Cliff Kingsbury. He's taking that offense to another level. They have a legit run game right now. And also, everyone was hating on that Dan Quinn hiring, but it's been nothing but good for them. Yeah, their secondary is garbage still, but they're 3-1. They're winning games. So I mean, shout out to the coaches for real. Cowboys. Excuse me. Cowboys. They need to look themselves in the mirror. I feel like I wouldn't say a lot of their players have a big ego, but I just feel like the Cowboys just feel like they could just roll out there and just perform at whatever level and just beat them, be whoever they're playing. Um, on Thursday night this past week, they nearly lost to the Giants. Danny Dimes was literally diming them up. He looked really, really good. Um, they also need to develop a run game. Yeah, Dak was passing a lot last year, but they had a solid run game. Right now, they have no run game at all. And I mean, you kind of expected that with when they had to bring back Zeke, but when you have zero run game at all, defenses can begin to just bracket CD, and they don't really have consistent wide receiver to play between Tober and Brandon Cooks. So I mean, things could go real down bad for these Cowboys in the next couple weeks. But I mean, they play the Steelers Sunday night this week. I have my prediction, my week 5 predictions later on in the week, but I think they get that win right there. Giants, like I said, Danny Dimes actually he looks pretty nice. He doesn't look too bad. Very encouraging to see as a Giants fan, but then again, he's Danny Dimes. Is he really your future? Neighbors, like I touched on it not too long ago with when I brought up Jaden Daniels, but Neighbors he's elite. Right now he's looking better than Marvin Harrison, but also Neighbors he's getting fed a lot of targets, but I mean that's why you drafted him in a top 5. Well, it's 6 pick. I think they had, but even Wanda Robson, he's producing. He had a career high, I think 11 catches on Thursday night against the Cowboys. They also have a solid defense. I knew going into the season they have a great D line, but even on the back end, their DBs are making some solid plays. Yeah, that's their weakest link, but I mean it's solid enough. Let's talk about the NFC West. Seahawks, pretty solid start to the year, but they haven't had that huge test. We just seen this this Monday night they played the Lions. They did, to me. I mean, yeah, they lost by multiple scores, but they looked pretty well, and I just think that if they get a defense, if their defense able to get stops, I think the sky's the limit for the Seahawks this season. They brought over Washington's offensive coordinator into their coaching staff this year, and you can really see it. Geno Smith, I can't recall how many passing yards he had this Monday night, but I know it was over 300 yards. They have a lot of different route schemes, and I mean when you have receivers like JSN, DK, and Tyler Lockett, who's still producing as a vet, you have to get creative. So that was a perfect hiring for them, and very, very explosive offense that they have. 49ers, will CMC even play again this season? And are they fine if CMC doesn't play this season? To me, I think they'll be just fine. I knew they had this injury bug. I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, Jordan Mason, he looked pretty good to start the year. Unfortunate start, but I mean, they're still 2-2. They'll be just fine. Ayuk, he needs to get right. He needs to get right. I'm gonna just leave it at that. The Rams, they're kind of stuck in the middle. It's like they're already dealing with the injury bug. They're 2-2 right now, but it's like, do they have a team that's going to be able to compete all throughout the year? And I knew going into the season I was very high on them, but I didn't think the injury bug was going to hit them this soon, especially at the receivers position. And I mean, with Kupp having a healthy offseason, Puka was dealing with some things, but I mean, Kupp gets hurt 2 games into the season. It's very devastating. It's like I said, they're kind of stuck in the middle right now. Moving on to the Cardinals. Gannon, he got to go. He has to go. Like I said, Neighbors is getting a ton of targets. Why is Marvin Harrison not getting? He needs 15 targets a game. Fourth overall pick. He needs 15 targets a game at least. I don't care. I don't care if those other receivers feel jealous or not, but they know Marvin Harrison is the best playmaker on their team. As we've seen in that first quarter, week 2 game, he had 125 yards already and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, he just needs the ball. You have to scheme up plays for him, and I just feel like Gannon can't do that for them. Excuse me. All right, moving on to the AFC. I did all the divisions, right, for the NFC. Yep. All right, moving on to the AFC. Let's start with the AFC East. The Bills, unexpectedly dominant. Well, for the teams that they played, we seen when they had to face a legit team in the Ravens. That lack of talent that they have on the offense, pretty it showcased. But I mean, Josh Allen, he's gonna have to put his cape on pretty much every single game, especially if they want to make a deep run into the playoffs. But the injury bug, they have it again on the defense. Teron Johnson, Bernard got hurt, and Matt Milano, he got hurt. I think it was in training camp. It was, but and then even Von Miller getting suspended the next 4 games. He just got suspended earlier this week. But I expect the Bills to be just fine. But like I said, Josh Allen, he's gonna have to put his cape on every game. And you can make an argument that he could be the front runner for MVP right now. That Sunday night game against the Ravens kind of hurt his case, but I mean, right now his stats are they're pretty solid. He doesn't have any interceptions on the year, and in my season preview video, I said that he has to be able to cut those down, and I mean he doesn't have any, so good for him. The Jets, one thing and one thing only: get Garrett Wilson involved. And it's not because I said he's going to be Offensive Player of the Year, but it's like, damn. When Aaron Rodgers was brought over to the Jets, we all thought the sky is the limit for Garrett Wilson. And he's just not getting involved. And it's like, why is he needs to be treated like Marvin Neighbors. He needs 10-plus targets every single game. And I'm going to leave it at that. Dolphins, does Tua need to retire? Week 2, Thursday night, very, very devastating concussion. Another scary concussion that he suffered on Thursday. I mean, he's healthy. He's on IR right now recovering, but at the mental state, it's like, bro, you already said it after your last one that you considered it. So I mean, bro, just go be a family man. Tyreek, is he regretting his decision to come over to Miami? I mean, he's had a career year with Miami, but I mean they're not doing anything as a team. And I mean he has a ring with Kansas City, but just imagine what the type of team that the Chiefs would have if he was still over there. But as a team, they just need better starts. They haven't led at all in any of their games. So I mean they just need better starts. Patriots, keeping it sweet. When is it Drake May time? I'm not saying that they need to rush him in, but that's all everyone's waiting for. As a Patriots fan, as an NFL fan, when is the time that we see Drake May? AFC South, let's talk about the Texans. Sadly, sadly, sadly. Sadly, CJ Stroud is a top 3 quarterback. And right now he may be the second best quarterback. Right now he could be the best quarterback playing right now. Um Behind Josh Allen, because Patrick Mahomes, he hasn't looked the best. Lamar Jackson, he's looked pretty good, but I mean, CJ Stroud, man, and it makes me so mad to talk about this man. Because as an Ohio State fan, I loved him, but now that he's a Texans fan, division rival, I mean Texans player, division rival, it's like, bro, I hate seeing this man do good. I actually do. I actually do. Um, and another sad thing about this Texans team, they're a true contender. They're a true contender. I was really, really hoping that they would have a downhill season, but they just they just don't. They're a true contender, and it just makes me so mad having to say that. So let's move on for them. Let's talk about my Colts. Rough start, but we're finding our rhythm. Um, that week 1 game against the Texans, man, if we don't have that red zone turnover, we win that game. Week 2 against the Packers, that was just ugly all around. It's like once we heard that Malik Willis was quarterback, I feel like we were just like, oh, we'll be fine. We'll be able to go into Green Bay and just go out there and win. Bro, were we wrong? Anthony Richardson, he needs to become more consistent, especially on those easy throws, those quick 5-yard outs, slant routes, whatever it is. He needs to become consistent with those in order to become a threat. Yes, he's a threat in himself on the ground and his deep balls, but I mean, if you're not able to hit those easy reads, it's like, come on, bro. We when those 5-yard plays are there on first down, we need to be able to hit those. We can't put ourselves behind the sticks or on second and third down. Um, and he dealt with a injury this past week against the Steelers after he got hit, but I mean he'll be just fine. Um, even when he got hit, I wasn't like, oh no, this guy is getting hurt again. Season's over. He's done. Um, yeah, it's a little discouraging, but I mean, he had a very, very good start to that game. And it's like always in the games that he's doing good, he gets hurt. Um, Jonathan Taylor, man, he's rolling top 5 in rushing yards right now. He suffered an ankle injury as well in that game against the Steelers. He didn't practice today, but I mean, hopefully he's out there this Sunday against the Jaguars. But if he's not, we just hope that it doesn't linger throughout the year and it's just a 1-week thing. But I mean, we'll see going forward. Defense, it's not the biggest problem right now that I thought it might be, especially in the secondary. Yeah, Caleb Williams and Justin Fields both threw for 300 yards against us. But I mean, they were both teams were down in the game. They had a pass. We had leads on them, so we didn't have to play like shutdown defense at that time when they were getting all those yards. But those first 2 weeks we got demolished on the ground, and then these past 2 weeks we just been completely locked down, and that's without DeForest Buckner being out there. Let's move on to the Jaguars. T-Law, he shouldn't have got paid, bro. Even when he got paid, I was like, what has this man do? What has he done in order for him to get paid? The second highest quarterback paid. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah, he has a scripted comeback against the Jaguars, against the Chargers in a wild card game, and other than that, he has nothing to prove why he should be top 2 highest paid quarterbacks. Brian Thomas Jr. He's shining. 17 catches for 275 yards, 2 touchdowns. So I mean that's a bright spot, and he's been open on a lot of plays, and Trevor Lawrence just hasn't been able to hit him. Moving on to the Titans, Will Levis is a pure meme. Um, he'll be out the league real soon. Nothing else there. Uh, AFC North, the Browns. Watson isn't. He's not the only problem right now. Yeah, he hasn't played the best. But I mean, the O line man, he has like no time back there, and I mean, he hasn't. The way he's looked this year is not as bad as he looked last year. Yeah, he's not the same Watson that we seen um in 2020 when he led the league in passing, which is sad to see. It's like, wow, the way his career just like completely turned around. It's like really, really sad to see, especially as a Deshaun Watson fan, Deshaun Watson believer. Um, but I mean, he hasn't looked terrible this year. I mean, they have a 1-3 record right now. I won't be surprised if they lose another game and they turn away from him. But I mean, like I said, he's not the only problem out there. And I don't think if they go to Jameis Winston, I don't think anything else will be solved. Ravens, they're easily the best team in the division, and I just think it's because the type of start that they had to go up against. You know, they had the Chiefs to open up the week. To open up the season. Then they had the Raiders. Then they had the Cowboys, and then they had to play the Bills this past Sunday. So they've had to play three of the top 10 teams in the league, and they proved that they're a top 5 team. Honestly, they're 2-1 in those games, and they could easily be 3-0 in those games with if likely Foot wasn't out of bounds. But Lamar and Derrick Henry, man, that duo is dangerous. They have an elite defense. Front seven is insane, and even the secondary. They're a Super Bowl contender. In my season preview, I know I said it was the Bengals division, but this Ravens team is really, really good. And they've gotten nothing but better than last season. Moving on to the Bengals, they have no defense at all, and their coaching is what's holding them back. It's like they feel like they could just go out there and put up as many points as they can, and they'll be able to win. But, I mean, when you have no defense and you get stopped a few times because your scheme isn't that good, you're going to lose games. And that explains why they have a 1-3 record right now. The Steelers, Justin Fields, he's their future. I'm not going to say he's a top 15 quarterback or whatever, but, I mean, he's looked very good to start the year. He's doing what he has to do in order to put the team in a position to win. But, I mean, they had a gifted 3-1 start. They haven't really had to play anybody for real. They had to play the Broncos. Then they played the Falcons week 1. They played us. They lost. And their week 3 game, I can't recall who it was. But, was it? No, it wasn't the Bengals. Who wasn't? I should have had that down for you guys. But this Steelers team isn't that good, honestly. I really hope we don't see them in the playoffs. But the back end of their schedule, it's all division. So that's going to decide if they get into the playoffs or not. Last division, last 4 teams. The Chiefs, they really don't look that dominant. If I had to play them, like, I wouldn't really like. When you see the Chiefs on the schedule, you're like, oh damn, this is gonna be a really, really hard game. Like, yeah, the Chiefs, it's always gonna be a hard game, but they look beatable. They look very, very beatable. I mean, they're 4-0 right now, but they could easily be 1-3. Like I said, likely foot was on the line. Then that week 2 game, Mahomes throws a game-losing interception, but then there's a flag. And then week 3, who did they play? Week 3. Um, damn, I'm fumbling for you guys right now. Um, week 3, bro. Damn. Let me look that up for you guys real quick. But moving on with the Chiefs, I mean, they're dealing with wide receiver injuries right now. Rashee Rice, they suspected a ACL tear, but still no confirmed word on him as to what the injury is. We knew going into the season, Marquise Brown, we knew that he was gonna be out for some time, but then the next week, they said that he's not gonna play at all this season. So Xavier Worthy has to step up. And I mean, as a speedster, as a rookie, yeah, you have Mahomes, but really Travis Kelce, he needs to be that guy. And he had a very, very rough 3 weeks to start the season. He had a solid week last week. 7 catches, I believe, for a little over 70 yards. Still no touchdown on the year yet, but I mean, it's really time for Travis Kelce to produce. But I mean, if he was already getting double teamed with Rice out there and Worthy, I mean, he may see 3 guys every single play. But back to that. Could be 1-3. When they play the Falcons Sunday night, there was a pass interference in the end zone. They didn't call it. If they call it, the Falcons are at the 1 yard line. And I mean, if they end up scoring, they may lose that game. So I mean, they could be 1-3 right now, but luckily for them, they're 4 now. Chargers, solid start for them. Promising future. Lad McConkey, he's looked pretty good. You like to see that from him. You like to see that he's still healthy. So I mean, like I said, promising future. Broncos. I mean, solid team, but nothing special. Nothing that's going to get them a Super Bowl in the next 5 years. But yeah, short and sweet. Broncos, they got some ways to go. Raiders, Devontae, just yesterday, just yesterday, he requested a trade. So I mean, we'll see if the Raiders trade him or not. But I mean, honestly, I don't think they will. But if he does, he said he would like to play for the Jets or the Saints. Obviously, his two former quarterbacks. So I mean, we'll see where he goes if traded. So yeah, guys, that was the 32 team. Where we stand right now after these 4 weeks. I know that was pretty long, but let's just run through these power rankings really, really quick. Number 1, I have the Minnesota Vikings. Number 2, I have the Lions. Number 3, I have the Ravens. Number 4, I have the Texans. Number 5, I have the Bills. Number 6, I have the Chiefs. Number 7, I have the 49ers. And honestly, you could put the 49ers ahead of the Chiefs. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have 49ers at 6, Chiefs at 7, Seahawks at 8, Buccaneers at 9, and I wanted to put the Commanders at 10. I really wanted to, but there's an argument for the Eagles to be there as well. But I don't know. The Commanders, they've looked very, very consistent. They have some solid wins on the year. So yeah, I'm gonna stick it out, and I'm gonna put the Commanders at 10. So those are my top 10 after 4 weeks of the season. Now let's get into this Thursday night prediction. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are favored in this game. It's a 1-point spread, and it's crazy to me that the Falcons are favored in this game. Yes, they're at home. Yes, they just won last week against a division opponent. But like I said, they haven't even looked that good on offense. Like I said, Baker Mayfield is the best quarterback in this division right now. To me, it's a Tampa Bay Buccaneers win. Um, Bijan, he's also dealing with a hamstring injury. He hasn't practiced this week. He's expected to play, but if he is playing, is he limited? Is he 100%? Um, yeah. Mike Evans, on the other hand, is also dealing with some things, but there's been other receivers on the Buccaneers that are able to step up. Um, Chris Godwin, he's having a great start to the season. But I think this could be pretty high scoring if the Falcons are able to match the Buccaneers energy on offense, and if they're not, then the Falcons may get blown out the water. But I do have the Buccaneers winning this Thursday night matchup. Um, Guys, let me know your predictions for the Thursday night game tonight. Um, in the in the comments. Sorry. But that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I know it was pretty long. Like I said, it was a month recap of the NFL. I expect me to get videos out for you guys weekly now. Like I said, school was kind of chaotic to start the year, but I should be able to find more time to get in here to make videos for you guys on a more consistent basis. So guys, make sure you guys hit the post bell notifications so you guys don't miss any of my uploads. Make sure you guys like this video, share it to someone who may be interested. That's gonna do it. J5 out.